What's up, fanboys and fangirls? Welcome back to another episode of TV Talk. This week we are talking about The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 3, The Convert. I paused for just long enough. Like, I couldn't keep talking the entire show, so it was inevitable that he would catch up to me.
Gotta get those in when you can, man.
Indeed.
It's my favorite part of the show.
What
Whenever I hear that music, like,
you guys, I'm curious. What were your thoughts on this week's episode?
It's kind of a mixed bag for me. I think, I'm okay with what I was given. I just hope they tie it back in later, because when a show is only 8 episodes per season and you spend an entire episode with characters, that you really aren't going to see again.
that we've never
we've never really had a huge
before.
connection to. It's like, why are we doing this?
I'm gonna be honest. I thought both of them were dead.
Sure.
Well, one of them's an Ant-Man, so she's the cool chick from the little town, the barbarian chick.
Oh,
That was her. Yeah.
she was way better in Ant-Man.
Yes. It's kind of a mixed bag. That being said, what they do give us of the Mandalorians, I thought was intriguing.
Yeah.
Bo is in a weird position now.
In a very, very awkward position.
Yep. I'll go because I agree with Tyler, and I think Brett's a little more positive on it. I agree with pretty much everything you said. The open I thought was so awesome. I was like, here we go.
Yeah.
Like, I think we're about to get into it now, and then we don't see them for an hour.
The pacing of
it's the
this
longest
episode
episode,
is
too.
really interesting.
I paused it
Really
halfway
interesting.
through, and I was just like, there's 30 minutes left.
Yeah. I paused it.
Or maybe 20 minutes left. So it's just like, oh my goodness.
I paused it right about halfway through, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this before I go over to Brett's. Because I was like, I just don't know if I really want to.
And that was really disappointing. And like, I loved Andor, and this had a similar tone to that. The problem was, though, is it wasn't Andor, and it just did not have the same quality as that.
Yeah.
And it felt kind of, not that, listen, Star Wars is goofy. Let's, like, not shy away from that.
Yeah.
It's space magic.
Yeah.
With laser swords, and I get that. But, like, just, like, the way the episode went felt weird to me. With, like, Kane and the Doctor bonding, and I wasn't sure if they were trying to convince me that she wasn't bad.
Oh.
And it's just like, she's obviously bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, like, when we were texting Brett, because you said you really liked it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, it was fine.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the CW, and it's because her, like, turn at the end is straight off the CW. How she's just like, I'm actually bad. It's just like, okay, let's move on.
All the way down to her standing in front of, like, the glass. Like, that's literally how they do it on, like, Arrow and stuff.
Right.
Like, it's really similar.
And I don't know if it was what she was given, or if she didn't get a lot of time to get more tries, but I did not think whoever played Kane was good in this episode. I thought the Doctor was okay. And then there's, like, the entire thing just with the plot when she's killing him or making him go crazy. I don't know.
Like the end.
Everybody leaves.
Oh,
except for her. It's like, who was the last one out of the room? It was her. Well, it was obviously her.
Obviously her.
And I don't know. There was good and there was bad. It made me miss Andor. But yeah, the open and the close I thought were very, very good.
I was a fan of those.
Yeah, I was, like you guys had kind of alluded to, I was a fan of this whole episode. I would agree, it's weird to get 5 minutes of The Mandalorian at the beginning and 5 minutes at the end, and then have 40 minutes of
You know what would have worked for me?
B story.
We really honestly haven't got that much Mandalorian as it is. I think it would have been nice if we just sprinkled their story throughout the other episodes.
I agree.
Would have been fine.
Yep.
So like every episode we get a little bit of Coruscant.
Yeah.
Which was really cool to be back on Coruscant.
Yeah.
Agreed there.
I thought the mountain was really cool.
Yes.
That was fun. But yeah, it was just pacing.
Yeah,
Pacing was bad.
It's just bad pacing. Yeah, and I agree. Especially when you have episodes that are 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
And then you're like,
why would you not?
1 hour.
Why would you not just? I mean, other than maybe they tried and the structure didn't fit. I don't know.
So I think it's weird too because this seems to be a trend, of an episode to the side that's dedicated. Mm-hmm. Like The Last of Us did it. And it was one of the best episodes. It's like, why did that one work and this one didn't? Well, it's just made better. It's better acting. It's better story. Lots of things. But like even Stranger Things did it with 11 side story.
Yeah.
A lot of times they're just looked down on.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's an interesting trend to do that.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I think, like Tyler was saying, you hope. I don't know why you would do something like this without it being very critical to the season arc by the end. I don't know what that looks like. But we seem to have gotten through what I thought Din's whole arc of the season was going to be. We got through that in 2 episodes in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
which is fine. But it does leave a big question mark for like, okay, so what does the rest of the season actually look like?
Now he's got to leave the cult again.
Well, so this is probably, I'm definitely wrong here, but here is my thought, right? Mm-hmm. With the way that this episode ends, with Bo and Din being at the, what are they calling it? A culvert?
The coven?
Sure.
I don't know.
Which is
like, I think it would be better if they just started to focus on Bo. And maybe the show moving forward is
definitely the like.
Her stuff's the most interesting, and she actually has something that she wants to do. Mm-hmm. And like the big reveal in the second episode is more for her, and the bathing in the water is sure Din is back, but really it's a change for her. It's like her character is the vehicle now.
Yeah,
and I think it would be better if the show would just like maybe shift its focus like towards the end of the season and say, okay, look, the Mandalorian is now about Bo. Din's gonna go do his thing with Grogu. Let's just move forward that way.
Yeah. They could just give her own spin-off, which is definitely what they're gonna do.
They tried. They canceled it.
Well, they'll try again.
If
they needed to give her season 3 if people want it.
Yeah. I do want to comment a little bit on the middle portion, majority of this episode. I really did like it, and I think that tying those themes we see in Andor kind of on this, the side of the Empire, the bureaucracy, what it means to, kind of have the Empire be this omnipresent presence. I enjoy that we're not just being like, hey, New Republic is all sunshine and rainbows, and I think the ideas that they're presenting here, this idea of, hey, here are people who are, ex-imperial officers or scientists, and like, what would we do to like integrate them into this new society? I like that. I would agree with Luke that like, look, it's not as good as Andor is, and so like,
it's because Andor's also extremely good.
Andor is way better than it like seemed to have any right to be, but it sets the bar high, and so then when you get something like this and it doesn't meet that bar, it can be a little disappointing. That said, I was just excited to see something new and different.
I'm not mad that they tried something different.
Yeah.
And also, like, to your point, I think there's some great, really quick things. Like, there's the part where they're leaving the eugenics conference.
Oh, yeah.
And there's all the rich people around be like, we didn't even notice that the Empire was left. And it's like, interesting.
Right.
Never brought up again. And then there's the whole idea of the robot. Jeez, the droid. This is Star Wars, Luke.
That's right. Come on, Luke.
There's the droid that he gets interviewed by. That's like, "How's your job going?
Mm-hmm.
Are you having problems with anybody?" He just always answered no. And it's like, that's great. His answer flips, or his mind flips in one interview.
Yeah.
It's like, if I would have gotten that interview in each episode, and then the
Right,
two
and
in
then-
this, it's like, here we go.
Very
Yeah.
Severance-y.
Severance, Ad Astra, Equilibrium,
Yeah.
like all the things. I think that could have been really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
Yeah.
it was upon us, and then it ended, and it was just like,
Okay.
Also, I laughed really hard when they jumped off the train.
Oh gosh.
It's like, oh my goodness. Just go to a train stop and get off and you get away. Like,
Right.
you don't need to be...
This doesn't need to be an action scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It looks so
Yeah.
stupid.
Little rough there.
Bit
But
of cringulum going on.
I am curious. Yeah, I think they're at an interesting point now with this show. We kind of have the first act is finished, I think, and my problem with it now is that I don't know where we're going.
Hey, 3 episodes into the season and the headline character's done literally nothing.
Yeah,
Isn't that cool?
It's frustrating. At the same time, like, it's still a fairly well produced show. It still looks good. The dogfight was amazing at the beginning of this
Oh my
episode.
gosh.
So like, there's those things that like are gonna keep dragging me back in, no matter how much I'm like, ugh.
Part of me also, like, I really did like the dogfight at the beginning, but part of me was also like, why are they...
Yeah,
like,
Yeah, they never really.
they
They're
don't
just
they don't
there.
talk about it.
They bomb her castle, and she's like, ah! It's like, have they been following him? And, I mean, it might be answered. Same with all the stuff with the dock. It's like, they might come back to play. We'll see, but hopefully it does. The other thing that I think is really cool is Bo-Katan is now joined the cult. I think it might, personally, I think it's a little bit of espionage.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's just trying to see what's going on.
Bo-Katan is one of those characters who is always trying to... She'll use people for her own advantage. Like, not that she's like a terrible person, but she's absolutely, I think, trying to figure out how can she use this to her benefit to regain power.
Yeah, and so one of the people, it's like the second guy in command in the coven,
Mm-hmm.
his last name is Vizsla, who was the guy who led Death Watch in the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Who had the Darksaber, and Bo-Katan was being mentored by him. So I'm really curious to see the bad blood or the relationship there.
Yeah.
They are going to fight.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very cool.
I do, yeah. I think this setup does lend itself to some maybe Mandalorian v Mandalorian combat, which is going to be, I think, pretty awesome.
I'm here for it.
Based on what we've seen.
And
in
then
the last
Rebels,
couple
they go
seasons.
into it. Clone Wars, they go into it. There's the group of Mandalorians that were on Darth Maul's side
Yeah.
when he was ruling Mandalorian. You should watch Clone Wars.
I'm on season 2.
He'll get there. He'll
Slowly.
get there.
You need to find the aggregated list of episodes you can skip in seasons 1 and 2, and maybe a little bit of 3, so you can get to the good stuff at the end. Not even the good stuff, the great stuff.
Okay.
It really is.
I'll start Googling.
It is
Hopefully-
also, it's Star Wars at the end of the day, so I'm
Yeah.
excited. I didn't
Yeah.
watch the newest Bad Batch.
Isn't that almost over?
I don't know. I think so.
Well, you'll have to give us an update when that show when that ends.
ends, I'll give a little
Sweet.
baby review.
Sweet. Yeah, so I think at the end of the day, this was kind of a mixed bag episode.
Yeah,
But
I think it's a
we're
good way
all-
to describe it.
We're all kind of like, where are we going? And I think the big problem for the Mandalorian right now, from our perspective, is that. We're just not sure where the show is going.
I finally remembered that.
And it's hard to establish stakes when you don't know where you're going.
Yep.
So,
I mean, it's even hard to say, like, who are we following?
Right.
Who are we truly with here?
Yeah.
Kane, obviously.
It's a weird place to be.
I mean, it was after, or in the middle of, like, season 2, what if the title, The Mandalorian, is actually about Grogu? Not any of these other folks.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is interesting. It's also extremely dumb because I'm still waiting for them to kill off Grogu because he's a dumb character and it adds nothing to the story.
What if the angry guy just, like, cooks Grogu and eats him?
The angry guy?
The one who was like, we'll see if you're telling the truth.
Oh.
And he just, like, cooks Grogu.
Let him cook!